Chosen One!
Welcome to the Chosen One. I'm your host, Qui-Gon Din, and today on Unit 101, we are covering a secondary that has been pushed out of, and now I think needs to be put back into Mandalorian lists, and that is because of the meta coming forward. So we're talking about Paz Vizsla, and Paz Vizsla is a 5-point cost secondary Mandalorian mercenary scoundrel. He brings us a tactic. We are Mandalorians. At the start of this unit's activation, each Mandalorian unit within 4 may remove 1 damage or 1 condition from itself. Then each allied Mandalorian supporting character within 4 may jump. This is going to be a very good tactic as clearing conditions is becoming more and more important, and this also can clear damage. And then one of your supports jumping is just very good. If you position him right, he does the Kalani effect, so he's moving 4 models. He himself is not very mobile, but you have other characters in your list to help with that. I'll cover the rear. This is going to be part of why you're taking him. When an enemy character makes an attack targeting an allied character within 2, after the effect is resolved, this unit may use this ability. If this unit's active stance is heavy hitter, 1 character in this unit may climb or jump, and then make a 5-die range attack targeting the attacking character. Basically, this is a revenge trigger if you attack anyone or anyone that's really close to Paz. Very, very powerful. It does cost force every time you use this, but it will not increase in force when he goes down because of the place that you're gonna play Paz Vizsla. Go. There are too many. This is the way. When this unit becomes wounded by an enemy attack after the effect is resolved, this unit may use this ability. This unit gains 2 injured tokens, then it removes 1 wounded token, all damage, and 1 condition from itself, and then may make a 5-die attack targeting the character that wounded it. This is another reason why we're running him. The more you attack Paz, the more you're likely going to trigger both these abilities, and he just starts attacking back. Descendant of the Great House Vizsla. While this unit's active stance is fearless, characters in this unit have steadfast. Additionally, while this unit has 1 or more injured tokens, its order card cannot be put in reserve. This is to keep you from looping, go, there are too many, this is the way, to the point where it's going to be just broken. It means that if you have too many wounded tokens, you're going to just have to go with them. We look at his stances, heavy firepower. This is the best expertise conversion rate in the game. 1 to 2 gets you 3 results, and 3 to 4 gets you 2 crits in a hit, and then 5 plus gets you 3 crits. You're really wanting to see 1 expertise with this guy because it makes his gun really consistent. Standard Mandalorian Beskar armor for defense, but his tree does enough damage to where your opponent needs to watch out when they attack this guy. And then his fearless stance isn't anything to snuff at either. He gets better access to crit mitigation on his expertise for defense. His offensive expertise still is a crit and a hit, double crit on 3, and then 2 crits, 2 hits on 4. This side does a whopping 9 damage on 5 results. And throwing 8 melee dice is very good. He gets his steadfast on the side. You won't switch to this side often, but when you do, it's when you need him to really hold that point. So we got to look at one rules at interaction, and that is comboing I'll cover the rear with go. There are too many. This is the way. This is a very kind of confusing style of combination of effects, but they both stack. If Paz gets shot and gets wounded, he gets to trigger both of these abilities because one trigger is the attack, the other trigger is the wound. It is 2 different trigger points, meaning both get to activate. So if your opponent gets a little overzealous and one-shots Paz Vizsla, they're going to be taking 2 5-die attacks in as long as you don't like pin and melee. There are ways to get around this because since you get to choose the resolution of the order of the effects, you can play them with like Mando, and Mando can clear a condition. Then you can do the I'll cover the rear to jump away to make the range attack, and then you can wake him up to give him another 5-die range attack, meaning your gun is going to pound the character that wounded him very strongly. We're looking at a couple lists that we can play him in. So the Oops All Mandos list, that is it, a lot of people play it. It's a very strong list, gives you a lot of movement, gives you the most out of the armor and Paz, but you have to play the list very specifically because of your force economy. 1 or 2 of your units are not going to be able to use force, which means no reserving. And if you pull Mando early, you can be forced into activating him in a non. Mando's activation is one of the kind of a breakpoints of this list. It's either going to be very strong or he's just going to be moving and hunkering onto a point because if you pull him early. But you generally do not reserve in this list because you're trying to save enough force to make Paz work, but you're also trying to make it so that you have your full synergy. A very strong list. This is a list that I frequently go back to when I want to play an event. And then I'm going to steal a note from Scott B. This is the Scott B World Champions Armor Mando or Armor with Dooku list. This gives you basically all the force you need for Paz, and this is a very defensive style list. It is still very good, even with the nerf to Aqua Droids. This list is still, if you pilot it right, it's very good. Both these lists definitely take reps to put on the table and to fully play to the max. But the reason why I said this is a very meta relevant secondary at this point is Paz Vizsla in the upcoming meta is going to be very important. We have way more aggressive lists coming out with the likes of Rift Tamsin, which is a little bit of a glass cannon, but that list hits super hard. We have Jyn Erso, who hits super hard in this mobile and doing things with Rebels. And the biggest one, Delta Squad is going to warp the meta state. It's not a guess at this point. I've played that list enough to know that Boss and Delta Squad are going to do similar things to what Iden did to the meta, and it's going to really ramp up the aggression. If you're playing Mandalorians, I think Paz Vizsla needs to be in your list if you intend to play Mandos in that matchup. Paz is going to allow you to make up some of the difference in attrition so your armor and coverts can make the most of their attacks to get wounds. Paz is going to be a big defensive play. Going into him, it's going to be a very attrition heavy game, and Paz is always in the Empire meta we had pre-patch. Paz was super important to the Empire matchup, and I think he's going to be super important to the Delta Squad matchup. So this has been Unit 101. Let me know who you want to see next. Thank you for watching this episode of The Chosen One, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. If you want to catch the next video, you can watch the one linked above, or you can just go and listen to the podcast on the playlist below. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for your support.